wonderful tributes and remarks from across the divide. And I would like to introduce Dr. Dorothy Kamia, who is the Director of the Postgraduate Medical Education. And she will begin with a brief introduction and a video about Professor Robert Armstrong. Sorry, I should have mentioned earlier, I'm Angela Migoa, a pediatric rheumatologist, Department of Pediatrics and Child Health. So is Dr. Dorothy Kamia online with us already? Dr. Kamia?
Hello.
Yes, you're more than welcome to proceed.
Thank you. I'm not sure that you can see me. Something's up with the video, but it really doesn't matter. Good afternoon, everybody. We are here to bid Professor Robert Armstrong, Bob, farewell, kwaheri, and bon voyage after 10 years of service as the founding dean of the Medical College in East Africa. I have worked with Bob these full 10 years, and it's been quite a journey with many significant milestones, lots of challenges overcome, and many achievements, of which we're going to see some in the video to follow, in the presentation to follow. Bob, I'd like to thank you for your stewardship. As I said before in a different forum, this is not an easy ship to steer, and you've done it well. In the last 10 years, we have trained and graduated 216 specialists, which is a substantial contribution to the growing number of specialists in this region. And of those, we have about 50 to 60% who are working within the AKU network, a fact of which I am very proud indeed. We have a short presentation that shows some of the highlights of your tenure here. And I'm going to hand over to the person who can run that presentation, which highlights some of your achievements here. Thank you.
Dr. Kamia, thank you so much for sharing with us that wonderful video, sharing with us all those wonderful years and moments we've shared with Professor Robert Armstrong. Thank you so much, Dr. Kamia. So next online, we will have a video message from the president of Aga Khan University, Mr. Firouz Rasool, and I think our IT team will help in coordinating playing of that video. Emma, we are ready for the video from the president.
Hi, Bob. I'm sorry that I can't join you for the celebration today, but I wanted to send you this message in lieu of that. And I wanted to express my personal gratitude for 10 years of outstanding service to AKU in East Africa as Dean of the Medical College. I well remember the time you were completing your sabbatical in Karachi. It's where we got to know you much better, although our paths had crossed at the BC Children's Hospital, where you were the medical director. The last 10 years have seen the medical college grow and expand its programs, take on students, and expanded the research base from which our faculty and students are currently benefiting. I wanted to express on behalf of all of us our sincere appreciation for some of the innovative things that you brought. And while at times I'm sure it was frustrating, the progress that we've made has been perceptible and evident. So I want to wish you all the best in your next phase of your life. I don't know if that means retirement or a new endeavor. Whatever it is, wish you the best of luck and hope we will see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Firouz Rasool, for those very kind words and wonderful remarks as we celebrate Professor Robert Armstrong. Thank you. So next online, we have Dr. Karl Armheim, who is the Provost and Vice President of Academics at Aga Khan University. And Dr. Karl Armheim, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody in Nairobi. It's a pleasure to be able to participate in this event. I have a message here from El Karim Haji. You just heard from the president. It's really, really early in Vancouver, and Bob would know that well. So El Karim sent me a note that I'd like to read, and then I will have my own remarks. So from El Karim Haji, Bob, I regret not being able to join you in person for this celebration. It has been a pleasure to work with you over the last 10 years. Your commitment and passion to strengthen the medical college has been admirable. You worked hard to actualize the vision of an integrated Faculty of Health Sciences and launch undergraduate medical education. You championed the need to support research. Thanks for all you have done for AKU. I wish you the very best as you start the next chapter of your life. With warm personal regards, El Karim. So that's from our Vice President Finance. So I think originally this event had been planned for a different time slot. So they sent the video team to our house here in Edmonton. So Bob, the really good news for you is you get to hear from the provost more than once. There's a long message that was recorded a little while ago while it was a balmy 15 degrees in Edmonton, which is on the verge of a heat wave. I know that doesn't get you much in Karachi, and it's the dead of winter in Nairobi, but you'll be able to see the message. Someone will send you the link. If not, let me know. So how does a provost celebrate the career of a founding dean, especially one who arrived so late on the scene, as did I. Deaning is a difficult job. Founding dean is a really difficult job. Founding dean of a medical college with all of the intersection with the hospital and the clinical world and the public authorities has got to be one of, if not the most difficult job in an academy. So I could go through a long list, and they sent me 7 pages of details of everything that Bob has done. I could put you all to sleep by reading that 7-page note, but I'm not going to do that. That's on the video recording, Bob. So when you can't sleep, it's cheaper than a pill. I'd like to focus on 2 or 3 aspects of my work with Bob that stand out in my mind. The first is that I don't think I've ever seen Bob get upset. I've been in meetings where I am sure beyond all reason that Bob was upset. He had to be upset. But Bob's not the kind of guy that's going to scream and yell and pound the table and visibly get upset. He just keeps focusing on the details on the issue. And that's a really rare quality in deans. He just doesn't let people get to him, it would appear to me. And this was most evident during the many financial discussions and in the many discussions around the UGME. And that brings me to Bob's second characteristic. Bob never gives up. Against all odds, Bob just doesn't quit. A couple examples. I remember when Bob came to me with a proposal to partner with Pamwani Hospital. And Pamwani Hospital had just recently been in the news. And Bob said, we have an MOU with Pamwani Hospital. And I think I said something that at the end of it all meant, I don't think this is going to be a good idea. And Bob said, no, I think this is a really good idea. Let me think about it. So Bob comes back a little while later and he says, it's still a good idea. In fact, it's a better idea. So at the end of the day, we signed an agreement with Pamwani Hospital, and there you have it. It wasn't easy, it wasn't fast, but when Bob believes in something, he pursues with a sort of relentless energy that eventually gets done what needs to get done. UGME is the big one that has eluded Bob. It's eluded the entire university. But even recently, with a session with the relevant board subcommittee, the UGME project has advanced substantially. We now have a sizable cohort of the trustees who are routinely talking about when we launch UGME, and there's no longer any great question about if we're going to launch UGME. So those are a couple examples. The one that, though, terrifies my team is Bob has this kind of special way of talking to the provost about things financial, where sooner or later the provost simply says yes. And towards the end of when I was in Nairobi, every time I had a session with Bob, right outside my door is my protective cohort of colleagues, and one or more of them would say, Bob's coming, just say no. We don't know what he's going to ask for, but Bob's coming. Carl, you got to say no. You can't keep saying yes. I said, okay, I'll say no. Eventually, they took that job away from me and gave it to Alex because I guess he's better able to say no than I am. I don't know if you noticed that, Bob. All requests now go through Alex. But congratulations to Bob. He drained the resources of the provost budget very, very effectively to the welfare and the benefit of the medical college. And that's pretty high praise from a provost team to a dean, is that you got everything we had to give, Bob. So that's good. So Bob, I won't go on further. There's 5 or 8 minutes of recorded details that you can access when you have nothing better to do. It's been a real pleasure working with you. Your family has paid a very high price for you staying with us this long. I know they want you to come home. Karora Forest will miss you every Sunday morning. The flora and the fauna will get used to not seeing you climbing the hills. It was one of the basic features of the scheduling machinery. Never, ever try to reach Bob Sunday morning. he's out in the forest doing his kilometers of exercise. But I used to stand on my patio on Sunday morning and look over to the forest, and I wondered, where is Bob? Is he sliding up that hill or sliding down the hill? Has he visited the waterfalls? Just where has Bob gone? It's like, where is Carmen Sandiego? Where is Bob Armstrong in Karora Forest Sunday morning? So Bob, thanks for everything you've done. You started the project, you've advanced it. Sign of success is the successor that you are handing off to this week. I'm sure Professor Atwali will be standing on your shoulders for quite a while, as will all of the other deans of the medical college in the years to come. So you form the first giant on which all of the others will stand. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you to you and your family for letting you spend so much time with us. And we will always be able to reach you. And we have lots of ideas on how you can not get bored in the next phase of your life. So thanks and good luck.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carl Armheim, for sharing such wonderful attributes and your accolade towards Professor Armstrong. Thank you. So next on line, we have the CEO of the Aga Khan Hospital, Dr. Sean Buluki, and we invite him to share his remarks and attributes and accolade.
You know what? I didn't write the speech. I brought Bob 4 games. Each one has a story. And I want Bob to open them, if he doesn't mind. And I will tell you what the story is. Carl says, you know what? Bob was the founding dean. And I always tell people, I found Bob here because he was a founding dean. And then Carl tells me Bob never gets basically upset. Bob, what is your specialty?
Pediatrics.
Development, am I right? Because he thought we are all children. And you cannot get upset with children, am I right?
Yeah.
But why don't you start with this one, Bob, and each one has a reason.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
It might take a couple of hours.
You know what? They try to do it well.
Oh, it looks like a ventilator.
Hey, we get to that one too. It's the oxygen concentrator.
Looks like what I did this morning, cleaning up the house.
At least you can put it on.
Wow.
Oh, this says, you know, to Bob Armstrong from SLT. I excluded Sammy and Pauline because they are the new member of SLT. Now you can name anybody that you want to. You decide which one is Majid, which one is Sean, which one is Rashid. Most probably this is Rashid because he gave you a lot of hard time. Because, okay? But this is basically, we said, you go there and when you are at home, you decide who reminds you of what, okay?
I will study this and send you a note.
All right, then you can send me a note, all right?
Well,
That's,
just move it there so everybody can see it, yes.
this is the second one.
This is really well wrapped.
You can just,
We are a team.
yeah.
You did such a good job wrapping this.
I spent my entire day wrapping these. This is
This is everybody's children's hospital.
This is something you and I started, and I want to make sure we continue our partnership until we get this children's hospital done. I didn't get a chance to do a stand for it, okay?
That's okay.
You can do that. The mascot is there, and I'm hoping that this becomes a reality, and I invite you to come for a groundbreaking or for opening.
Yeah, I'll come for opening.
Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
But this is the most important one.
I don't know who wraps your gifts.
I did it myself. I did it as an engineer. Anyhow. You're right. I don't know who wrapped this one. But I think I found it.
Thank you.
Oh, more intrigue.
The Daily Nation.
Oh. This one says CEO Dean Peace Pipe. That is for your next job. But you know what? You can also turn it and it becomes Peace Pippin. And what do we have on this one?
Snuff.
What is it? It's a chameleon.
It's a chameleon?
And why you need to be a chameleon? Because you have to be strategically and politically correct. And you change basically color based on the situation.
Thank you very much, Sean.
And this is the last one.
Well, we wonder what that's going to be.
I could have used the peace pipe a while ago.
Probably a scalpel or something.
You will see what it
And
is.
it all.
Telling you.
Let me.
I stare it.
Viagra.
No. This is Panadol. And the reason I gave you Panadol is to relieve your continuous headache that I caused you. But I thought, you know what, if you are still suffering from the headache that we caused you, you can take it. But
Thank you,
in
Sean.
a serious note, I really, really want to thank you for your contribution to the hospital, to the medical college. I know we had our disagreement, but we always found a way to work together. We all had a common goal, different approaches. I want to thank you, Dino, for being frank. You know what, we took care of our disagreement behind a closed door, but when we worked together in a, how should I say, collaborative manner, and I completely agree with Carl. I never saw you to get upset. Even when I was throwing feet, you stayed calm. And then after a while, I said, you know what, yeah, Bob has a point. But for that, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for your vision about the Children's Hospital. And my sincere hope is that still you will be part of it. Help us, you know, to take it to the level that it needs to go when it is built. I promised that to Professor Macharia. He never believed me. I haven't given up on it. But thank you for everything that you have done. And I hope you will come back. And as I said, maybe when things settle down, we can invite you to come back, that we can have a proper farewell for you. Okay?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate the relationship and working together.
Thanks.
Okay, that was traumatic.
Angela, you're mute.
I'm sorry. Sorry for that. Thank you so much, Dr. Sean Buluki, for those kind words and for your accolade and appreciation of Professor Armstrong. Thank you. So next online, we have the Vice Provost of Aga Khan University, East Africa, Dr. Alex Awiti, and we welcome him to share his remarks and his tribute for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Dr. Awiti.
Thanks, Angela. Good afternoon, everyone. It is hard to say goodbye. It is even harder to speak about Bob in just 5 minutes, but I realize that he also just has 10 minutes to talk about himself, so I don't feel too bad about it. It's really impossible to describe in any credible way the sweep and depth of Bob's contribution as founding dean of the medical college. So I won't even try. But it's been a little more than 10 years since I first met Bob. First meeting was during his job interview. I was not alone with Bob at the time. My colleague, whom you remember as well, Wambui Mwangi, was a political science professor, was with me in the room. So I'll paraphrase Bob's response to one of Wambui's questions. Bob, you probably may not remember this, but here it goes. I don't care if they can dance or paint or write or recite poetry. I care that they can make the right diagnosis and cut the right place. So your response was not a resounding endorsement of a liberal arts core for the proposed UGME curriculum, but you were hired.
Barely.
But looking back on that interview day and having known Bob for 10 years, he was just Bob. Confident, circumspect, and matter of fact. As Dean of the Medical College, I did not sense any hostility to the idea of a 2-year liberal arts foundation for the UGME program, the writing, movement, the poetry, and literature. So Bob was converted, and he remained steadfast. Bob, you've been a partner through the years, even when the UGME and the FAS vision seemed to fade. And you remember you gave me my first research associate when I became director of VAI. That was Shiriza College. So I'm truly grateful for that. So you leave the medical college with what I think is a truly first-sighted UGME curriculum, built in the true image of the founding architects, Rafik Keshavji, Wambui, Mshai, Bettina, Onesmo, Jan Selman, Silva Quevedo, Bill Defo, Anil Walji, Mushtaq, William, Yasmin, and many other colleagues who are still at AKU. Bob's energy, as Carl said in the beginning, and even Rose referred to this, is boundless. LIMDAC is not in your vocabulary, Bob. In the last months of your deanship, you championed the AKU course strategy. You got the tuition model for UGME approved by ASAC. We have a brand new regional grant support office. Together with Dean Eunice, you breathed life into the AKU Faculty of Health Sciences that Al-Karim talked about. You brought a proposal to integrate the MNSP as part of the testing in the Department of Medicine in your last University Academic Council meeting. And your very last act at the crack of dawn yesterday, you got us the financial plan for residence training.
It's not the last one yet.
Okay, so we'll hold that. So the words of the American poet, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, captured the true measure of Bob on this occasion of his farewell. Great is the art of beginning, but even greater is the art of ending. Thank you, Bob, for your long, dogged, committed service to Aga Khan University. Your passion, as scholars and heroes talked about, was searing and stubborn and unbowed, especially when the road was bumpy. So to use a sports metaphor, you left everything on the field. I wish you good health, my friend, and much happiness in the years ahead. thank you very much, Bob, for your service to AKU.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Awiti, for your tribute and for highlighting some of the key achievements of Professor Armstrong. Thank you so much. So next in line, we will have the Dean of SONAM, Dr. Eunice Ndirangu, to share with us a tribute and her accolades for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Dr. Ndirangu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angela. Bob, good afternoon, good morning. I am not quite sure what to say about Bob, but perhaps I can do this in the form of a story, in the sense that I did not know Bob before I was academic head. I knew that a new dean had come in, but we had never really interacted. And for me, he was someone I just saw and knew exists in the institution, but had never really got to interact with. But as time has gone by and found myself in this position that I am in, of course, as a person in a new position, you have a lot of anxieties. And one of those anxieties is how will you interact with the other deans? And in the case of SONAM, this dean being the Dean of Medical College. But I have to say, Bob is the most welcoming individual you will ever meet. He's very cordial. He's always available. I did have coffee, which he bought, I must say, with Bob to pick his brain, to sort of get his sense of where does he see medical college, where does he see SONAM, and how then as dean can I help push, his views and his visions forward. It was very nice that he had time for me. I will also remember that, as Carl said, Bob is very, very persistent. And I think this FHS thing, even for all the doubts I had, trust me, we've met. I think we even had a meeting even with Prof. Mashari as well. And I think that idea of knowing as an individual you have a brilliant idea and taking the time and the patience to get people to buy into your idea is a skill that Bob has that I really do admire. Beyond that, I would like to say that we hope we'll continue interacting, and I'm really appreciative of the fact that you brought SONAM in over and over and try to make FHS a reality, whether it's in the research front, whether it's in the idea of getting the Department of Population Health as a vehicle that brings all the health sciences together. But beyond that, I think I'll want to know the trick through which you've been getting Carl to open all the pass and the bank account. So I'll follow up on that conversation, because I really need to get those yeses as much as I can. I think it's now the opportunity for SONAM to raid the provost's budget. And so, yes, thank you, Bob. I really, really do wish you the very best. And I know, in spite of you coming to an end of your term, that we'll continue to hear and see more of you, especially because we have a huge, huge passion for the Children's Hospital. So thank you so much and all the best, and please do keep in touch. Asante.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ndirangu, for the wonderful tribute, and just for highlighting also Professor Armstrong's efforts to collaborate with SONAM. Thank you. So next online, we will have a representative from the Aga Khan Development Network, Dr. Azim Lakani, who will share with us his tribute through a recorded video. Perhaps the IT team can load on the video. Thank you.
Hello, Bob, and greetings from London. We first met in 2016, I recall, when I took up my position as the diplomatic representative of the Aga Khan Development Network, but also interacted at a different level given my background in clinical epidemiology. We have interacted a number of times since at various events and initiatives organized by you and the Aga Khan University. On behalf of the Aga Khan Development Network, I would like to express our gratitude to you for your dedication, your experience, and your wisdom that have led to a substantial growth of the faculty. As an AKDN rep, I often have to talk about the contribution of AKDN to Kenya. And in the context of the Aga Khan University and the Medical College, I have been able to talk with pride about the training that you have, the excellent training that you have provided to create much needed specialists in Kenya, 80% of whom remain in the country. This has and will go on having into the future far-reaching impact. You have also contributed to the reputation of the medical college that has led to international collaboration in funding, exchanges and research. You are leaving the Aga Khan University with a solid foundation to build on. Please carry with you our best wishes for the new phase in your life. Farewell.
Bob, you have received formal recognition of your excellent performance from the Board of Trustees a few weeks ago. This is my personal message to you as a resident trustee. I have witnessed tremendous growth and development in the medical college in East Africa over the past 10 years that you have been the dean. You had a vision which you worked tirelessly and with courage worked towards. You have brought great strength and professionalism to both the PGME program in Dar, working closely with AKHS, and in Nairobi. Beyond that, I remember the critical role you played in the academic planning of FAS in East Africa. In my personal view, Bob, your greatest strength, which has brought such success to the institution, was your ability to work closely and collaboratively with the School of Nursing and the CEO of the hospital. What is your lasting legacy? I think, Bob, it is laying the foundations for the undergraduate medical program. This was your dream, I know. Future generations will benefit from your work in this area. Farewell, Bob, and please keep in touch. God bless.
So again, thank you so much, Dr. Azim Lakani of the Aga Khan Development Network, and Mr. Yusuf Keshavji, a member of the Aga Khan University Board of Trustees, for your accolade and tributes to Professor Armstrong. Thank you very much. Next in line, we'll have Mr. Moyez Alibai, who is the chair of the Aga Khan Health Services Board, to share with us his tribute and accolade for Professor Armstrong. Ken and Tanvir, maybe you could share the video.
Bob, you are an invaluable member of the board of Aga Khan Health Service Kenya. Your wisdom, your breadth and depth of expertise, your broad perspective, combined with your wit and humor, have been of enormous value to AKHSK, and it has always been a pleasure working with you. I will miss your smiling countenance. I'm delighted that although you will be thousands of miles away, you will continue to be a member of the board. I wish you all the very best always. Moyez.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moyez, and really for highlighting, even though physically he might not be with us, but he still remains a partner as we strive to build the university. Thank you so much. So next we will have our very own Professor William Macharia, the Associate Dean of Research, to share with us his tribute and accolade for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Professor Macharia.
Thank you very much, Angela, for giving me the opportunity that, you know, when Bob came here 10 years back, one would not have imagined that you actually get to a stage like this where we'll be bidding him farewell. And I'm sure Bob is wondering that, you know, what kind of things am I going to talk about him? And he knows as well as I do that I now know him pretty well over those years, as much as he knows me. Before this session, I hesitated and wondered, what can I talk about Bob? I said, do I talk about research? He knows everything about research and what I do, because he gets updated on that on a regular basis. That I said, what the heck? Let me just speak the truth the way I know it, and the way I know Bob. And I know him pretty well because when he came those 10 years back, I was in the search committee that actually selected him to take this position. And I recall in the discussion, we saw this gentleman who was looking, relatively quiet and looking very humble. And I know in the discussion there was a query, can this, fella really hack? There's a big job ahead of us here. Because it was a difficult time when there was still a lot of acrimony between, the full-time faculties and the private, the admitting doctors. We had all these programs, the graduate programs, the faculty academic practice plan, and all those many things. And we knew he hadn't worked in Sub-Saharan Africa for, previously. So we are pleasantly today surprised, Bob, that you took up the job and you have taken us where we are now. I recall in those earlier years when you came, you had a constant fight with us about referring to PGME. And you always insisted, don't keep on talking about PGME. Talk about the medical college. So exactly the medical college you came and you set it up. And we all proudly sit back now and know that we have a full-fledged medical college. And I would actually not stop there, but also mention amongst a number of things that have actually been talked about here, but about your determination to get things done and not accepting no. You again might not recall, but for me, one of the major tasks that you undertook was, I think it was on the first week when you actually reported. It happened to have been a time when you are going to have an MOU signed at the Ministry of Health headquarters with Gatondo County. And you are, it was rather sudden because you were just asked to go and have it signed. And you even didn't know much about it, but you knew that it had to be done. And you are actually calling Firoz on the phone as you are heading to the Ministry of Health to get it signed. And it actually got signed. So that goes a long way in showing your determination in actually getting things done. And I'm saying, these are the things that I know you for, the traits which I know you to have for a fact. And thinking outside the box, we have interacted a lot, Bob, with you. And there are times I think I've really hacked things up. And all of a sudden, you come up with something, how come I hadn't noticed this? So you always see things beyond at times what many of us can at times see. And the resilience of never saying die, you never accept that, anything is not possible. I recall you and I think Carl mentioned about that. And examples are like the Department of Population Health. What you went through, it was turned down, and you went back and back, over and over again. So you actually keep on, insisting when you are, when you are convinced that something needs to happen, you always go for it, and more often than not, it actually happens. I could say a lot of things, but I only confine myself to a few, and one of the other things I would like to mention is like, delegating. You are very good at delegating. Anything that somebody else can do, you just ask them to go ahead and do it, but you take a responsibility, which is what a good leader should do. So you always delegate responsibilities and accept to take the rough end of the stick, and you never take advantage of anyone. I think that's a very good trait. You are also thorough, as I know you, with a lot of attention to detail. You've been an excellent mentor for most of us. And the word selfish does not reign in your life. Where you see opportunities, you're always inviting people to join in. and you never turn down good offers. You know, one who comes up with an offer, and you are more than ready to say yes. I know, having said all those things as I terminate my remarks, is that you are also, for a fact, I know you are leaving this place with some guilty conscience. And the reason I say that is because you never like leaving business unfinished. And you have been commended about the graduate medical education, but right inside you, you know, you feel not fully accomplished, because you would have wanted to have the undergraduate medical program running and going before you left. I also know the other things that you feel you've left as unfinished business. And among those again is the current COVID situation. I know you wish you had actually sorted this one out and left a very clean slate financially for the incoming dean, but unfortunately, circumstances have actually not allowed that to happen. The children's hospital has been talked about here. Again, you'd have enjoyed to actually be at the launch if it had happened before you left, but Sean has given his promise here, so we will be holding him accountable. But there are many other things you've accomplished. And the last one that you did, to my delight, is of course the Faculty of Health Sciences. You had previously been more or less turned down because of circumstances. And I knew you are determined to have this one grow before you left, and you have done it. In my view, Bob, that I have worked with many people during my short professional career. And I know you are an extraordinary visionary leader. I do remember you for that. And God be with you wherever you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William.
Thank you so much, Professor Macharia. And you know, I remember vividly, like it was yesterday when Professor Armstrong joined us. You introduced him to the Department of Pediatrics. I was a resident then. And I remember you saying that we have with us a very visionary leader. And Prof, you were right. Thank you so much for sharing your tribute. So next online, we'll have the Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs, Dr. Majid Twahir, to share with us his remarks and his tribute for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Dr. Twahir.
Thank you very much, Angela. I've interacted with Bob in two different capacities, Bob. You might not remember that before I became a member of senior leadership, I was Director of Operations, which was a much more junior position. And you invited me once to give a presentation to MCFC. And after I finished that presentation, I was frowned upon by the other side. Those days it was the other side, the hospital side was the enemy, so to speak.
I wasn't here.
No, I know.
It was your side. And that part of the attribute that Bob has brought in since then is bringing together the hospital and the university. There is no more frowning upon of being on the other side. We are all considered as part of one and the same. What attracted me then, and it continues to impress me even now, is the gentleness that Bob conducted the meetings. Everybody was important, every opinion mattered. Not only was everybody listened to, but their input was factored in the decision making, Bob. And I learned a lot from that, from you, that you go into meetings with open mind. You are the conductor, not the player of any instrument, and you bring everybody together and they make harmonious music in those meetings. I remember actually telling my wife that I would like to join the university simply because of how Bob conducted his meetings. I thoroughly enjoyed those kind of meetings and the bringing together of people. The word I used describing Bob then to my wife actually said, there is a gentle soul. That's the impression that I got, that Bob is a gentle soul because he brought everybody together. This impression has not changed as I joined senior leadership and interacted with Bob much more closely. I interacted with Bob even at a personal level where I would go to Bob for advice. We would disagree many times, and Bob many times would chastise me and say, Majid, I don't understand why you're not seeing my point. In a gentle way, you wouldn't believe how gentle that was. And we would be able to discuss and design a way forward. Bob, having been a medical director, empathized with my position quite a lot. He many times told me, yours is a thankless position. And he encouraged me as I got whipped from all sides, from the private doctors, from the faculty, from senior leadership, from all around me. He told me it's a thankless job, keep going, keep at it. And I'm very grateful for that. That kept me going, Bob, and I'm forever grateful for that. The more recent years I've come down, I've matured, and I'm emulating more your style of leadership. I cannot, that will stay with me forever. I can never remove that from me. So for me, Bob, you have touched me at a professional level, at a personal level. That gentleness of the soul is what I emulate to be when I grow up, that I also become a gentle soul. Bob, you have touched us, you have touched me personally. For that, I thank you very much. God bless you and wish you all the best as you move forward. I'm sure in Carl asked whether you're going into retirement. I'm sure Bob has no, that word doesn't exist. He will pick something else to do. Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you.
And Bob, you hired the right replacement. He's going to help Majid. He's a psychiatrist.
Thank you.
At least I'm not going to PTSD, so it doesn't need to.
Because everybody has been beating on Majid.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tuanir, for those well wishes towards Professor Armstrong and for highlighting his gentle nature. Thank you so much. So next on line, we have Dr. Hussein Kidanto, and he's the Associate Dean of the Medical College of Tanzania, and we have a video clip recorded. So perhaps Kevin and Tanvir, Kevin and Tanvir, please play for us the video. Ken and Tanvir, we're ready for the tribute from the Associate Dean, Medical College, Tanzania.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Dear Bob, on behalf of the faculty, residents, and staff of the Medical College Dar es Salaam campus, I wish to thank you for being a great leader. We have done so much to establish a respected medical college in East Africa. To us, you have been a mentor, an advocate, and an advocate for the young Dar es Salaam postgraduate medical programs, and above all, a fatherly figure and a friend to all of us. Time is truly flying. 10 years have come and gone. Lots of good developments and growth has taken place within this short time span. The Aga Khan Dar es Salaam Medical College has seen introduction and expansion of new programs with your guidance and support. We had one program added to and now two more. Change is truly happening and happening for the better cause. The change and growth will have been difficult without your immense experience and support. You have been with us during good and challenging times, and sometimes you've had to timely intervene to quicken decisions and make the medical college realize its mission and vision. For that, we are grateful. It is a bittersweet feeling today that we have to bid you a farewell. You have enriched our lives. You have made the AKU and us better person. This is truly a mark of your great leadership. We shall forever cherish your leadership and contribute to this great university. We look forward to build bridges by helping us to establish collaborations with anyone, wherever you are, that will benefit us and the collaborators as well. We wish you and your family the very best in your future endeavors and warmly welcome you to visit us in the near future. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anthony Ochola, a Year 3 internal medicine resident, but representing the whole resident body today. To pay tribute to a gentleman we simply knew as Bob. Despite him being a professor, despite him being the dean, He is a very humble gentleman who, even if he was sending a very scathing email, at the bottom it will be written, Bob. As a gentleman who I knew to have open doors access, someone you could talk to, someone who was able to sort out issues and able to listen. And indeed, Professor, we appreciate the time that you spent at the Aga Khan University Hospital. We appreciate the effort that you've gone to make our education more quality. And in fact, if there's ever any evidence of a commitment to quality education, it's this year. When the COVID pandemic struck and everybody was worried about a surge, and we had a surge plan created as early as March this year. And when we met with you, you actually wanted your name to be part of the faculty rota who would be treating patients alongside residents. And we truly appreciate that. As you go on to the next phase of life, we pray for you. We wish you all the best, success and good health. And please do not forget the Aga Khan University Hospital, and please do not forget your residents. And as always, we'll always remember the gentleman who signs off is Bob. Thanks.
Hi, I am Mary Achakolon, Year 4 Anatomic Pathology. I have known and interacted with Bob for the past close to 4 years, and during that time, all I can say is it's been an honor working with you. You have been very approachable, and you've always had the residents' welfare at heart. And for that, it has been a pleasure working with you. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and from me, as well as the entire residents' body, we will miss you. Good luck.
I'm here to join the rest of you in celebrating the special occasion of bidding farewell and recounting achievements of Bob as Foundation Dean, Aga Khan University Medical College, East Africa. I was called as an alumnus and one of the pioneer students in the PGME program. But I wondered how well to recount the times during Bob's stewardship, and there was no clear methodology to undertake this. I settled on a case report with a sample size n equals to 1, obviously with its limitations. Bob's office is situated in East Tower Block, and we were not quite sure whether it was the Tower of Babel or an ivory tower. What was remarkable is that every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, Bob would be sat at his desk, although you would wonder if he was stargazing, as his eyes would be fixed on the computer. This routine over the years has seen the university academic programs develop from a mere skeletal PGME to an ambitious fully fledged medical school and nascent fellowship programs. I am sure Bob would have loved to find a similar space on the top floor of the upcoming academic center. When he was not sat at his computer, he would walk to a meeting with his Apple laptop in one hand and the other hand tucked away in the right trouser pocket. He would obviously exchange smiles and pleasantries. We know that thriving academia relies on scientific discourse, and Bob directed that all faculty and residents attend the faculty academic rounds, commonly known as FAR. Bob led by example, although his attendance became truant when breakfast was taken away. I'm sure he will blame this on COVID. Bob, you're leaving a continuing legacy, and I reckon that one of the local universities may take you up as Emeritus Dean, because you are not just about ready to abandon the tropical sun. Very best wishes, Bob, on your next endeavors.
About 10 years ago, I was offered the job of an assistant to the Dean of the Medical College. The office was a beehive of activities, and I had to learn the flow of the office really fast. I want to thank Dr. Armstrong, because you guided me and helped me to learn the ropes really fast. As you leave AKU, I salute you for standing as an example of a true leader. You've always put the needs and goals of faculty, residents, and staff ahead of your own. The dedication you put in your work is one I have not seen before. Each day you go to the office earlier than 6 a.m. and go through so many meetings with so much grace, patience, and dedication to finding solutions and support to each person who worked in your office. I'm a better person, a better employee, and a better resource to the medical college thanks to your support and mentorship. I'm sad to see you leave, and I'll truly miss you. It's been a great 10 years working for you.
As Dean, Bob gave each of us unwavering support. Whether it was a new project we wanted to embark on, or a new idea we proposed on, changing or reforming operations, or a new policy we were considering developing, or needed funding or resources to support training for residents or faculty or staff, be it within the country or outside the country. Bob, we could always count on his support to get this done. He was also very keen on the residents' welfare, and I remember on about 4 occasions when some of our residents were facing difficulty surviving the program. When we wanted to take action against them, Bob always reminded us to make sure that whatever decision we took was in the best interest of the students. And that was a constant reminder that we needed to have the residents' welfare at heart and foremost in our minds. It was a great pleasure working with Bob and his tolerant nature, especially when we had divergent opinions. He would listen to everyone around the table, and then we would come to an amicable agreement on way forward. So his ever-present smile is one thing we will definitely miss, and we wish him well as he transitions into the next assignment in his bucket list. We will miss you, and all the best, Bob. Thank you.
Bob, we owe a special debt of gratitude and thanks to your family.
That's for later, when
Later.
he goes to bed.
When I'm trying to sleep.
I'm going to watch this.
Sorry,
I'm
Ken
in
and
shock
Tanvir.
today.
Ken and Tanvir, you didn't want that video clip to play? You want us to move on?
Yeah, I think we should move on.
Okay. All right. So, a special thank you to Dr. Kidante in Tanzania for his attribute, and all the resident representatives, alumni, and staff. Those are moving attributes. Thank you so much. So now, in a special way, I'd like to invite Professor Buta, Zulfikar Buta, who would like to also just share his tribute with us and give his accolade to Professor Armstrong. So, Professor Zulfikar Buta, you're welcome to share your attributes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know whether you can see me or not. I don't quite have the video option here. Bob, I don't know what to say. I wanted to reflect a little bit on the first time that I met you, 13.
Did we lose Professor Buta? Kenan Tanvir? Okay.
Can you see me now? And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we can, Professor.
Well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I did want to join, and unfortunately, I won't be able to stay till the end. But so, Bob, I was reflecting on 13 years ago when I walked into your office in Vancouver, and at the occasion when the possibility of you joining the AKU-AKDN family wasn't even on the radar screen. And the next thing we knew that you honored us greatly by coming and spending a sabbatical year with me in Karachi, which I think was a fantastic year, just given the amount of work that we were able to accomplish and getting to know you. And lo and behold, beyond that, you assumed what was a pioneering and uniquely challenging position in East Africa. And I think your contributions to the development of scholarship and development of academics within the AKU family have been phenomenal. It's never easy to be founding or foundational anything because you have to build from scratch. And I think what you've done has been totally stellar. At a personal level, I really sincerely hope that this is not the end of your engagement with AKU and your friends. And I hope that I can be counted amongst a list of people who have learned as we have walked, sometimes in your shadow and often alongside you. So I wanted to take the opportunity of wishing you well in your future endeavors. We have had enormous opportunities of working, thinking, collaborating, and planning things together. And a lot of what has been accomplished has benefited from your contribution and your support. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to wish you and the family well, and don't go too far away from AKU and AKDN because you're part of the DNA now. And nobody who's ever been in a foundational position at AKU ever gravitates away too far. So thank you, Bob, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Professor Buta, and for sparing time to join us as we bid our founding dean farewell. Thank you so much for those wonderful words. All right, so next we will have tributes from the chairs, and we'll begin with our very own chair of Department of Pediatrics and Child Health, Dr. Pauline Samia, to share with us her tribute for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Dr. Samia.
So thank you, Ms. Emma. Can't see her. Thank you, Emma, and the organizing committee for inviting me to give this tribute. So from Department of Pediatrics, we cannot believe how fast the time has gone. We actually thought we still had another month with you. However, we shall continue at the risk of repeating ourselves and what has been said around the table. We would like to say a big thank you to Professor Armstrong for his time here at Aga Khan. And indeed, it's been an honor to have you as one of our own at the Department of Pediatrics. And indeed, I recall one day you were pulled out of your busy schedule to come and review a child at that time admitted in the children's ward because we did not have another developmental pediatrician. People had not heard of somebody like that before. So it was interesting to see that this was unexpected, but you respectfully responded to the erroneous call until I said, no, it's okay, we can handle this. So thank you. Thank you for truly being a part of our department. It has been very special for us to have a pediatrician as dean who understood the needs and the clinical workings of the department over and above the regular administrative function. We know you have left us, but you will not go too far from us. We think you're only changing location. We plan to continue working with you collaboratively, virtually, and we really hope that you will stay on as emeritus professor in our department. So as usual, you're always welcome to visit the department as often as you can, whenever opportunity is available. We thank you very much for advocating for this Children's Specialty Hospital. We are really confident that as a result of your advocacy, it's only a matter of time before the real tower is put up. We look forward to having a hospital that touches the lives of many children in this region. Thank you once again for taking care of the resident body. For us, that's special as well. We want to thank you for also taking care of those who take care of the residents. We noticed that you did not miss a single one of the program director's dinner when I was program director, and we thought that that was kind of special. So thank you for coming to those dinners, even when you were required at so many other functions. Thank you for the leadership, for the courage, for the guidance, for being an example who has actually helped all of us who interacted with you to grow and become better, to always remain positive and hopeful that our dreams will come true. So go well, asante sana, karibu tena, and keep well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samia, for that great tribute. And Professor Armstrong, you can see it's a bye, but it's not really a goodbye. You're still welcome. So next we'll have Dr. Sudhir Vinayak, the Chair of Radiology, to share with us his tribute for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Dr. Vinayak.
Yeah, thank you. So when you're usually the last speaker, everything has been said. I don't know. I don't want to be repetitive, but I remember when you came in as the founding dean, and a lot of people were saying, what is a founding dean? We didn't quite know. We realized the title actually was for you to find out all the things that you needed to do. And you realized very quickly they hadn't told you everything that needed to be done. But you took on the challenge right from the beginning, started addressing all the issues that needed to be addressed. And I remember you had a nice, good crop of hair when you came. And over the years, we saw you lose it. But you gained more experience and knowledge about how to handle things in the institution, and you did a great job. I think you've always had this really good rapport with all the chairs. And you've always been calm. Everybody has said that. And I see that our provost has put the sign up there saying, keep calm and carry on. And I'm sure it was soon after he had met you. So you know, even the provost has learned from you. And for you, there was no challenge too big to take on. I remember in the medical college faculty council meetings, people would come in and say, we're in great trouble, so many things, we can't handle them, this, that, and the other. And as soon as the person would finish, you would say, well, I don't think that's such a big deal. I think we can sort it out. And by the end of the meeting, everybody had an answer to the problems that they brought to you. And Majid mentioned, I really like the way you conducted the meetings, always punctual, it starts on time, and it finishes on time. And during that short space of time, we really took on so many challenges and addressed them and found solutions. And you've set a fantastic foundation for the incoming dean, who has to just follow in your tracks. It's a very, very demanding job, I know, and you made it easier for him because I think a lot of the difficult things have already been addressed. And this balancing act between the PGME and the hospital is no easy task. I know that we've taken you on so many times and said certain things must happen, and then you go and have a meeting with Sean, and it's the good thing Sean's left actually. So Sean and his team say it cannot be done, and you know, then you got to come back and give us that message in a way that we do not react. It hasn't been an easy task, but I think you've built that bridge over the years, and that bridge has a good foundation. So the chairs often take credit for whatever happens in their department, and the institution, the hospital will say great things are happening in this department and that department. But you've always been there in the background to make it happen. And certainly in my department, you've helped me so many times in getting things done. So I really thank you for that. And I wish you well. And I know you'll be back. Everybody keeps saying it. And I think you'll be back sooner than you think you will be. So once we are through this COVID-19, I think if you come back, we won't give you another farewell. I think we will just welcome you. And hopefully that'll be soon. And certainly when the Children's Hospital is up, I'm sure you'll be cutting the ribbon. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vinayak, for that great tribute. Thank you. So next, we have two more tributes from chairs. The next is Professor Marlene Timmerman, the Chair of Obstetrics and Gynecology, who will be sharing her tribute for Professor Armstrong. Welcome, Professor Marlene. I think we're having some connectivity hang up. Okay, maybe as we wait for her connection, we could go to Dr. Shabani, the Chair of Family Medicine. If he's online, he can share his tribute as we figure out the connectivity with Professor Marlene. Dr. Shabani?
Hello.
Okay, go. Professor Marlene, welcome.
Yes, Angela. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, Bob. I'm so happy to be able to say a few words as well. And just from the heart, I remember we met in December 2015 when I was invited to launch the Center of Excellence together with you, Zulfi, with William and others. And when I became the chair of the Department of OBGYN and the director of the Center of Excellence in Women and Child Health. And I remember that you took me to the 7th floor to your office, EB, and that I was asking Bob, where is the center? And you looked at me and you took me to room 707 and you said, well, Marlene, this is your office, and from here, you will grow the center, isn't it? And I will support you. I didn't know what the center was, where it was, but you did. And I think your leadership is really the art of supportive leadership, because there was nothing, and now there is a center. And you have been supporting this all the way, because you were always there to give directions. You were always available, except for Sunday morning, as Carl said, always responsive and always finding a solution in a very calm, never angry, and so on. Alex is already. You were always there for our many speed dates, 6:30 in the morning, or my speed list in the weekends. Bob, can we quickly have half an hour? That always was 2 hours. To go over my list. So thank you very much for all of this. 5 years later, the Center of Excellence is alive and kicking, growing locally, regionally, and internationally. And imagine, it has even partners in Vancouver. So on behalf of the team of the Center of Excellence, on behalf of our department, Asante Sana. So before I close, I remember recently that I asked you, Bob, what are you going to do when you retire? You looked at me, retiring? I'm not retiring. I'm just changing positions and locality. We will miss you, Bob. We will miss you as a dean, as a friend, and to use the obstetrical terminology, please don't cut the umbilical cord with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Merlin Timmerman, for your tribute and for highlighting Professor Armstrong's supportive leadership style. Thank you very much. So now we have a tribute from Dr. Jacob Shabani, Chair of Family Medicine. Is Dr. Shabani with us?
Yes, I am, Angela. Thanks you very much. And I'm very glad to be given an opportunity to give a tribute to Bob. It was a challenge actually to call you Bob because in our culture it's very difficult to call a leader by their first name. So I struggled in my emails whether to address you as Dean Armstrong or Prof. Eventually I came to accept that it would be okay to call you Bob because you've been a mentor to me personally and also showed me the virtues of being a servant leader. The first encounter I had, you threw me into the deep waters when you made me to be the interim chair. I remember that time the family medicine department was struggling with basically one faculty lead in the department. We've now grown and I'm grateful for that because you've allowed for the department to undertake faculty development and to go through the struggles of resident recruitment without failing us. You've been a great friend to family medicine and we're eternally grateful to you. And we hope that you continue giving us support in family medicine as we go ahead. I thank you personally for entrusting leadership to us and also trusting and promoting the alumni to leadership positions in the university. We will not forget you for doing that. So we wish you well in your future endeavors and we are grateful for whatever you've done for the university and the growth of PGME. And so as to repeat myself, because I can't get myself to say how thankful I am for promoting family medicine, you've been a great resource. Thank you very much. Asante. Mungu akujalie.
Thank you, Dr. Shabani, for taking time and sharing your tribute with us. We are grateful. Thank you very much. And Professor Armstrong, you've heard from so many speakers across the divide. Your attributes are endless, from servant leadership to smiling countenance, you know, and now we want to give you an opportunity as our chief guest, Professor Armstrong, to share with us your thoughts and reflections as we come to the end of your tenure as Dean. Welcome, Professor Armstrong.
Professor Armstrong, just before you start, we have a message from Shekhar as well. Bob, happy retirement. Congratulations on the new phase of life. May all your hopes and plans come true when you go to your life back. Enjoy every minute, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you, Angela, for hosting this session. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the organizers for organizing it. I think if this had been a typical send-off, there would have been about 10 minutes of recognition and the rest of the time would have been dinner and conversation. So I really appreciate the amount of time you've committed to reflecting on the last 10 years. I think maybe the first thing I'd like to say is I think the Foundation Dean title is a misnomer. I certainly didn't come at the foundation time of the medical college. The foundation was built starting back in 2004, I think. And I think the real leaders of that are some of the chairs who are currently chairs, and Professor Mushtaq and Jeff Reese, and the private doctors who actually were the foundation builders of the medical college back in those days. So I like to think of my time, my 10 years here, as working on the first floor, not the foundation, because the foundation was truly built before that. It's not a very classy title to call yourself the first floor dean, but that really is what we have done collectively over the last 10 years. The most important thing is obviously the people. And it was really an innovative idea to not start with an undergraduate program, but to start with a postgraduate program. And I think the most successful thing that we have all done is select really good residents, send them away for fellowships, and bring them back as junior faculty in the medical college. And that's fundamentally the role that we played over these last 10 years. And I think the departments, the university, the hospital have benefited tremendously from those foundation years. And I think we've collectively tripled the size of the faculty over these 10 years. So that's fundamentally the most important. We have had the opportunity to establish 2 new departments recently, but really important ones in hematology and oncology that will really fundamentally change not only the clinical environment in cancer care, but the research environment. And so we have been very lucky to do that, very lucky to recruit the leadership for that. And I think the second department, which is certainly one that I've been very committed to, is in population health. It's the first named department in East Africa. And it's the objective is to try to break down the barriers between clinical medicine and public health. And if you know the field, public health has tried to stay as far away from medicine as possible, not quite as far away as nursing sometimes, but the ability to think and from an integrative point of view, I think has been really important. And so I think population health will be fundamental to our undergraduate programs. And I'm really grateful, actually most grateful to Carl for supporting the establishment of population health. I think it was one of the first things. I don't think I asked for money, but I certainly needed his support to, did I ask for money? Needed his support to actually,
just the salaries that went with it.
You know, it's one of the challenges in building the medical college is it's relatively easy to recruit a clinician because they generate clinical revenue. It's much harder to generate the funding to recruit these fundamental building blocks of a medical college, which is population health. And the new dean will have more to come. From 1974 to 1984, I was at McMaster University, and William, I never met William there, but he spent a year or so in McMaster. But when I was there, I was the dean of the medical college at that time was Fraser Mustard. And I was a graduate student and represented graduate students on the executive committee of the Faculty of Medicine there. And Fraser was a powerful force, a very powerful force, intimidating to not only us as students, but even to many faculty members. But it was really a wonderful coincidence that when I joined the AKU, he has been a long time board member of the Aga Khan University. I think maybe even one of the founding board members. And I had the real pleasure of working on a special project with him, which was the creation of the Institute for Human Development. And he was a strong advocate of human development, one of the strongest. And it turned out to be the last year of his life, but I chaired an AKDN committee that got a proposal to the board to establish the Institute for Human Development. And it's been a real pleasure to see that transformation, both fulfillment of his dream to get the Institute established, but also the transition from a founding director of the Institute, Kofi Marfo, to now the new director, Amina Abubakar, who is a Kenyan and an outstanding scientist. And it shows you how you can create opportunity that lasts, that becomes a foundation of the university. So that's, I think, a very important experience that for me to have. Building research capacity, is much harder than building education programs, and really benefit from the wisdom and engagement of William as the real driver of research in the medical college, and the creation of the associate dean position, a position that reports both to nursing and medicine, I think is a really important demonstration of the Faculty of Health Sciences. And I think Zulfi has mentioned our relationship. We had invited him to Vancouver to open a Center of Excellence in International Child Health in Vancouver, and as a keynote speaker, and out of that grew this relationship with him. And working with him to establish the institute, to establish the Center of Excellence for Women and Child Health. His leadership in that role has been outstanding. And the ability then to recruit Marlene, as she has pointed out, to establish an East African arm of that Center of Excellence, I think has been fundamental. And I see the Specialty Children's Hospital as the next phase of that effort. And I think Sean is very committed, as I am, to making that successful. The establishment of the campus in Dar es Salaam, I think, is fundamentally important, and it was a great opportunity to recruit Kedanto, who is an established scientist and academic to that leadership position. Aga Khan Health Services, as some of you may not know, is the funder of the program in Dar es Salaam. And there's the same sort of tension between hospital and medical college as we have here. But it's grown, and it really demonstrates our commitment to East Africa and to building campuses in each of the communities in East Africa. And recruiting, we had trouble recruiting Tanzanians to the Kenyan program. And now there are graduates of Tanzanian Dar es Salaam program who are now being recruited into the hospital environment. So, and Kampala is next on the list. I'm just about done. I know you're getting tired. But a dean of medicine, the primary mandate of a dean is education, and the postgraduate program, we've had tremendous leadership in the postgraduate program from the very first day to the current day, and our graduates are a demonstration of that. And so I really want to thank all of them, the chairs, the program directors, the residents who've grown up here and come back and taken on program director roles have fundamentally established that base. And the decision to now be accredited by the ACGMEI will give us the international credentials for our residents to essentially learn wherever they want to learn, as they have. Establishment of the fellowship programs in infectious disease, cardiology, neonatology, and pediatric neurology are just the beginning. And our new dean has a lot of experience in developing fellowships at Moy University, and we had a good discussion about how to advance fellowship programs and get them accepted in the East African context, the Kenyan context. But the undergraduate program is the true foundation of a medical college, and I hand over the responsibility for getting that done to my faculty colleagues and the new dean. And I think I look forward to the first class graduating. Both Sean and I have committed to support the first, to provide support to the first class of students. And so I'm looking forward to doing that in the near future. I think the interaction between medical college and hospital has been talked about. Everybody knows about the integrated health system that is going to happen at some day. But fundamentally, I think that first floor building is part of that agenda. And then finally, the faculty. You know, one of the challenges of time is that if you don't move fast enough, you can lose a cohort of professionals whose career is dependent on the infrastructure that you create to support them. And I think the biggest regret for me is I think we had this great vision of training the residents, sending them away, bringing them back as junior faculty and starting the undergraduate program. And that gap in time, I think, impacts individual careers. I think the original plan was 2012 to start the undergraduate program. This is 2020. And during that time, faculty have moved forward, but not in the same way they would have if we had started on time. So understand the challenges of getting things done on time, but I really think it's important that we move the undergraduate program forward. It's so critical to the health of the faculty. So those are my comments. It's been a real privilege to both live and work in Nairobi and AKU with colleagues. I've had lots of family and friends visit on trips here, and they're overwhelmed by the people, by the beauty of the country, and by the history of this country, of this continent. And I feel the same way. It's been a real privilege to be part of the journey. And I am not retiring. I look forward to various types of collaboration. But I also am really pleased to hand over the reins to the new dean, who we spent some time with yesterday. I hope we haven't scared him away. And it's a difficult time with COVID, but I wish you all great success, and look forward to watching a little bit from the distance. Assuming I'm leaving on the weekend, as soon as I find out the results of my COVID test, which I had to have, I better not be positive. So thank you. I thank you for your tolerance and for your very kind words. And I think, Angela, you can take over now.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Armstrong, for those very reflective words. You made a statement which I thought was so profound. You say that we should create opportunities to establish lasting foundations. I thought that was very profound. Thank you for all that you've done for the college and for giving us the task to make sure that the undergraduate does become a reality. Thank you so much. So now it's a session for a gift presentation. And I'll invite Dr. Alex Awiti to present the gift from the Office of the Provost and the senior leadership team.
Going to need another suitcase.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sending you home with a lot of luggage.
The movers came this morning. There's nothing left.
So I'm sure they're going to open this?
It depends. I mean, people.
You want to see it?
Sure. Hopefully, it's not wrapped as well as.
No.
Well, there you go. This might help.
Oh.
It's like the Remo. Yeah, to write your memoirs.
Letterhead.
Printed paper.
Do you have the scissors in your pocket?
The scissors have been lying there all this time. They were not used. And I was wondering who would look at them.
That's wonderful.
So it's still the pipe theme. It's the same pipe.
The wisdom of elders. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take me a lifetime to go through the next.
You mind standing? Okay.
PJ will probably have to do this again. Okay. So here you go, Bob.
Thank you.
Because of the mass I covered. Come back, have it. With a mother and 2 kids.
I need surgical precision here. I guess. I'm not sure I can get through it all.
Mummified. It's a Masai warrior.
It's mummified.
Will you rewrap it?
We'll ask Mr. Emma to.
No, they've left me.
They no longer work with you. Okay, we just okay.
Oh,
That's lovely.
I love that. Oh,
So the guys are
Very nice. It's got a pediatric look to it.
It has
yeah.
a women and child.
Women and child.
Maternal child.
Great.
Very appropriate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alex Amiti, for presenting those gifts from the Office of the Provost and the senior leadership team. Thank you. I would like now to invite Professor Macharia to present the gift from the Medical College of East Africa. Welcome, Professor Macharia.
Blanket people. Oh my God! Well, we're going to send you to bed.
Bob not knew about winter, but this month has been very cold.
I agree. I agree. Thank you so much.
It's one for you and one for me.
You don't. Hopefully, you don't sleep alone.
Not anymore. Thank you very much. You're a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
That was easy. They didn't have to. They didn't wrap it too.
Wow, that's beautiful. So it's Aga Khan University appreciates me for Distinguished Services Foundation team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're not done.
Oh, I'm not done. I'm not going to be able
More than a suitcase.
You need a
A big suitcase.
Makes us want to leave too.
Yeah. We're all ready to leave.
Yes, Alex.
I think there's seats available on the plane. Oh,
wow.
I'm not sure where I'm going to hang that.
Wow. That's a beautiful painting.
It's a painting.
Yeah,
Wow. That's lovely. Thank you so much.
from a picture.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Macharia, for presenting those gifts from the Aga Khan University. Thank you. Next, we have the communications team, a gift from the communications team. And this team consists of Mr. Brian, Mr. Henry, Ms. Carol, and Mr. Steve. And they have a gift to honor you, Professor Armstrong.
May you never forget it. Finally, I get to know my way around. That's lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you to the communication team for your generosity. Thank you. Then we have another group representing.
We shift to him.
Next one.
Great idea.
Yeah, rather than carry them.
What is this thing with blankets from Easter?
No, actually, my family had this order that they wanted blankets before I left. I don't know if they've been talking to you.
Okay, that's interesting. That is just an Easter bug. Also, that is one way. The one way of the.
They don't return.
On the.
It says one way.
It says one way.
Yeah.
I can't come back.
It's a one-way blanket.
Wow, that's Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
For the dog house.
So much.
Dog house.
Has some stuff to give away when you get there.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sami Chepkwony, for presenting those gifts from the hospital. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Next, Mr. Peter Gatiti would like to present a gift on behalf of the library team. Mr. Peter Gatiti, you're welcome to present your gift to Professor Armstrong.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. You don't know it yet, but I'm sending a lot of books to you. Thank you. I think one of the greatest advancements for the university has been the formalization of the library as an academic.
First, the library, you have to read something.
That's a lovely.
So this is Janet Rukenya. So that in case he said you pass Rukenya.
When he comes back.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Go, you sit down.
Oh.
This is from marketing.
Marketing.
Thank you
very much.
Go right to number
No, HR.
Pauline is marketing all the way to the end. Thank you very much, Pauline.
Okay.
Thank you to all our colleagues who presented the gifts to Professor Armstrong. Oh, all right. Thank you so much. And now we are drawing to a close of this wonderful virtual farewell get-together for person. And I'd like to invite Mr. Sami Chepkwony to make his closing remarks as a member of the team of the Aga Khan University and the Human Resource Department. Welcome, Mr. Sami Chepkwony.
Thank you. And so the advantage of speaking towards the end is that I can just agree that everything that has been said is what I wanted to say, which is to a large extent correct. But allow me, Bob, to say a few more words on behalf of colleagues. I think to start with, I started myself because at the very beginning when I joined the AKU, you cannot probably agree with what I'm saying, but we had a disagreement with Bob. That was our first interaction. And the disagreement was about how I should address him. What people do not know is that from a very early age, I have a profound respect for doctors. Now, when I met Bob, he was not just a doctor, he was an accomplished academic, but also the Dean of Medical College. So I started calling him Professor Armstrong. And we disagreed. He said, no, you have to call me Bob. And I said, no, I have to call you Professor Armstrong. Until he got annoyed, that's when I realized I have to call him Bob. And actually, from the time I called him Bob, up to now, we have had a good because then I found out along the way that actually Bob doesn't believe in the protocol and all the other things. He wants you to get the work done. And I think as soon as I realized that, we have had a good working relationship with the NAPSO. Now, when I was coming, or as I was preparing to come, I asked colleagues, if I don't get time, and I've just got a few minutes to say a few words about Bob, what do those mean? And they said, everyone said all the things that I've said here, so I'll not repeat. But I think it's important to say a few of them. One which resounds across the board was that Bob is really a good leader. Whether you are talking about faculty or non-faculty, everybody recognizes Bob as an accomplished leader. And they gave me a few examples that if you really had a problem, one you didn't think anybody else could solve, you needed to go to Bob and you would find a solution. Either he would give you a solution or you would somehow find it. So the other example they gave me is that Bob is always approachable and you'll always find time. Whether it is 7 in the morning or late at night, Bob would find time. And also even over the weekend, if we needed us really Bob to do something, he would come through on a Sunday morning, on a Saturday night, and people felt very safe because of that. And there is something else which I think a lot of colleagues have said around the world, but which I know because I work in China. That Bob, apart from taking medical college from where it found it to where it is now, growing, increasing the number of departments, starting fellowships and all the other programs, there is something that I think we need to let you know about, that I know is so deep in your heart, which is the love for growing people. Actually, if there is anyone who has kept me busy in terms of signing training forms, it is Bob. Even when there is no money, Bob will somehow find the money for somebody to go for training. That's one. The second one is Bob wants his people to grow. He really loves people when they grow, whether they are moving from instructor to senior instructor, assistant professor to associate professor. Bob was really keen on growing us across the various ranks. There's a lot of testimony to that. I'm not just saying stories, even if you go to the records, you can actually see that Bob has done that over the years. And people really appreciate this, Bob, that you did not just grow the college, you grew the people within the college. And it was both faculty and non-faculty. So all of them are fully appreciative of that. And then lastly, I really got them to write this because you would think yeah, sure. I manufactured it along the way. And it is something that I think everybody agrees that among the leadership competencies that people really appreciate is that you are humble and down to earth. When they say that, I say you need to write because as Dr. Chapani was saying, we don't usually say this for senior leaders, but that is how colleagues there believe you are approachable, humble, and you can get to their level and get their things done. At the end, again, I got them to write this. They say, Bob, but a gentleman will be greatly missed. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Mr. Sammy Chapman, for that really wonderful share with Professor Armstrong. Thank you very much. And now we are going to the end, and our last speaker in this program is Ms. Emma Rono. And these are some of the people who've been working behind the scenes, really to make this virtual farewell get together for Professor Armstrong work and make sure it succeeds. Ms. Emma Rono, you're welcome. Vote of thanks. Emma, you're muted, Emma. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can. Go ahead, Emma.
Thank you, Angela. Allow me to say a few lines to Bob. Beyond your incredible work, Bob, and deep impact, you have been the heart of the Medical College for a decade. Yes, you have fulfilled your goal of making the Medical College a great place for faculty, residents, and staff. You have worked tirelessly to achieve that goal. I deem it a great honor and privilege to give the vote of thanks on this memorable event of bidding farewell to Dean Armstrong. I thank each and everyone who, despite busy schedules, have found time to grace this occasion. We are grateful to all our senior leaders for their unstinted support for this function and your immense farewell tribute that are poured out this afternoon. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here for accepting our invitation. I thank all who took time to piece together the special tribute videos to Bob. I owe special gratitude to the committee that has worked hard to ensure this occasion becomes a memorable success. Thank you so very much, each one of you. Bye.
Thank you, Emma, and to all of the committee and Angela for organizing this. I hope it's the last Zoom launch that you have to do for a dean for the next 100 years.
So thank you, everybody. Once again, Professor Armstrong, without repeating everything, thank you once again for everything. Thank you to everybody who has logged on to join this virtual farewell. And we've come to the end. And for those who are at the Provost office, you could enjoy whatever has been availed as you get together. And to those who are still online, we'll have one last final video, after which we wish all of you a blessed evening. And to our brothers and sisters celebrating Eid Mubarak tomorrow, happy Eid Mubarak. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So we'll have the last video.
Bob, we owe a special debt of gratitude and thanks to your family, your daughters, your grandchildren. They've paid a personal price in you being gone for so long and so far away. So we'd like to thank them for sharing their father, their grandfather with Aga Khan University as the work of building the medical college has progressed. And we thank you, Bob, for so often putting the needs of the medical college above your own personal needs. And every Sunday morning when I'm catching up on emails, looking out over Karora Forest, I will know that at least in spirit, as you have done in fact for the last 10 years, every Sunday morning I know that Bob's out there walking the trails of the forest, looking at the flora and the fauna, probably having a cup of coffee at the little restaurant at the end of the walk. Bob, your Sunday mornings in the forest are legendary. We all know about them. We don't even try to contact you Sunday morning because we know you're walking in the forest. And as you return to Vancouver and walk the trails of the coastal areas of Canada, we hope you remember fondly the many, many miles and kilometers of walking in Karura Forest that you enjoyed while helping to build the medical college into the amazing organization that it has become. Thank you, Bob, and happy trails.
Oh, there's Helen.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Hi, Ellen. Thank you, girl.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone, and bon voyage, Professor Armstrong. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, Angela.
Goodbye, all.
Okay.
Goodbye.